everybody and welcome back to my channel. For today's video I'm going to be doing a first impressions and review of the new Morphe foundation. So I have actually seen quite a few people do like the PR unboxings for this, and I saw it and I thought it's not normally the type of foundation which I would be drawn to use on myself, but I don't know, just something caught my eye about it and I thought, you know what, I really want to try that because I do have foundations, you'll know, that I use all the time which I really like, and this is a formula which I wouldn't normally be drawn to, but I really wanted to just try it. I wanted to try something new, mix up my routine a little bit, and I really wanted to do it on camera for you. So it's been sat in my drawer for the last week or so and I have not looked at it, I've not tried it, swatched it or anything, so I've got absolutely no idea what to expect. So if you want to see my first impressions and review of this new Morphe foundation, then just keep on watching. So you can probably tell I've already started my makeup, so I've done my eyes and my eyebrows, and the name of the foundation which we're going to be doing a first impressions of is the Morphe Fluidity Full-Coverage foundation. So the colour I've bought mine in is F220. Now I actually used the little selection quiz thing on their website to pick my shade, and I basically wanted a shade that was slightly darker than my natural colour but wasn't the same colour as my fake tan, so that I could use it when I'm kind of in that in-between stage which I'm at now. You can probably see I've still got a little bit of colour from a fake tan from a week or so ago. So this is what it looks like, the packaging. The first thing I will say about it is it's not the most, I don't have another foundation with me. I wanted to compare how much is in other foundations because this says it's 30 millilitres, but it does look quite small. But I mean, it doesn't put me off. I quite like that it's not glass because I am a very clumsy person, I'm always dropping things, so it's good that it's not going to break, and the packaging is obviously quite nice to look at. The only thing which I instantly don't like about this packaging, not the product at all, is that it's matte, and I know that that's just going to get absolutely filthy once I've used it a few times, but that's obviously not a reflection of the product at all. So I am going to, oh, it looks like quite a nice colour. I'm going to use it exactly as I would use any other foundation normally. So I've just popped a little bit on my fingers. I think I really like the colour of this. Okay, so the first thing I'm noticing is this is a very thick, very full coverage formula. I really like that colour, because I have not mixed that, because usually with my foundations I'll mix a few shades together to get the right colour for me, particularly when I've got a tan fading, but that actually is a really nice match without having to do anything to it. I know it probably seems a bit weird that I'm using my fingers, but during the winter my skin has been so dry, and what I find is that when you're using your fingers to blend in foundation, it just warms it up a little bit and makes it go into the skin a little bit nicer, which is why I've been doing that more recently. So then what I usually like to do is use my Morphe M439, and I'll use this to buff in the foundation. Okay, so the other thing that I have noticed is that you have to work really quickly with this because it has got a very thick, very full coverage formula. You can probably see as it's gone on. But the other thing is, like, because it's so thick and it's very matte, it dries very quickly, so it's not giving you much time to work with it, if that makes sense. So I would just say, like, I'm not dallying, but I'm obviously talking to you guys at the same time. I would maybe be going a little bit quicker if I was just getting ready by myself. And then I do just like to take a damp sponge and go over the top. You've seen me do this quite a few times, but I just find it gives the nicest finish on your foundation once you've used this. It has got a nice finish. It's definitely a matte finish. I think it must say matte on the box. Does it say matte? Full coverage foundation. Yes, it's matte. This is definitely matte. So I'm just going to do my under eyes with my Collection Lasting Perfection concealer as I would do normally. So that concealer has layered quite nicely over the top of it, so I'm just going to set it with a bit of the RCMA No Colour powder. I'm then going to set the outer portions of the face using the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Medium Dark. And I am just going to keep this to the outer part just so it can help start the sort of contour and bronzing process. I'm then going to take a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury Film Start Bronze and Glow in the shade Fair Medium, and this is the bit for me which usually like is a make or break in terms of foundation, because if my bronzer or contour whatever goes on blotchy, I can't cope with that. So we'll see how this goes. It's gone on really nicely. Oh, I love it. That has gone on so nicely. I'm happy with that. I am happy with it. For blusher, I'm going to be taking this Anastasia Beverly Hills blush kit, and I'm going to be taking the shade Spoiled, which is, oh, this one right here. The only thing which I'm noticing so far, and you may be able to see it in the camera, is the one thing that I find on me is that if the foundation is very, very heavy and then I conceal under my eyes, it kind of goes like how it is here, and it goes almost like there's too much product there. So I think in future I will probably only take this foundation up to about here on my face, just to prevent this from happening, because obviously the foundation was quite thick and then I've used quite a thick concealer over the top. So I did just want to use it as I normally would. I didn't want to change anything that I would do. So usually because I'm using a lighter foundation, it doesn't really matter so much. But yeah, with this, because it's quite thick, I've noticed that it's a little bit cakey around here. But we're going to fix that with some setting spray, so don't worry about that whatsoever. I'm going to be taking the Anastasia Beverly Hills So Hollywood highlighter. So I am going to be taking my Morphe Continuous Setting Spray, and I'm going to spray my face a lot because it is so matte. Bit of lip liner. This is my favourite lip liner, Truffle by NYX. And then the lipstick I'm going to be wearing today is this Revolution, I think it's like a liquid lipstick type thing, and it's called Buff. Honestly, when I saw this colour I was like, yes, and it's Revolution, so it's so affordable. So this is the finished makeup look. I'm just having like a really good look at it so I can give you a full review. I actually am so impressed with the way this turned out, because I am not a mad lover of very, very thick, very, very matte foundations. Typically, sometimes I will. If I'm going on a big night out and I want something which I feel is going to be super duper robust, then I will go for something slightly heavier. But in terms of kind of day to day, this is not a formula which I'd normally gravitate towards. However, saying that, I wanted to try it, and I love the way that it's turned out. As you can see, it's such a good colour match to me, considering I wanted it for kind of those times when my tan is fading, so I wanted it to be a little bit darker than my natural skin colour but not too dark. I think the colour match is really good, which I think says a lot about their little system which they've got on their website, which I will link down below for you to go and have a little look at. I think that my bronzer and my contour blended really, really nicely. As I said during the review, it became a little bit cakey under my eyes, so I'd probably stay away from too heavy concealers, and I wouldn't bring the foundation up to under my eyes, just because I put a lot of product into there anyway, and I think it was just a little bit too much with kind of a thick foundation, a thick concealer, and then a heavy powder over the top. But saying that, it still looks nice now that we've set it with a little bit of a setting spray. It's still like sort of settled it down a little bit. It looks nice. It has just made the skin look really, really creamy, and it's definitely a full coverage foundation, and I do think it's really, really nice. I was a little bit concerned when I started putting it on, and I thought, wow, this is very thick, but I actually really love the finish. And the thing I really liked about this is, because obviously it's a matte finish, once I had buffed it in and everything, it did dry really quick, so you do need to be quick with it. But at the same time, I didn't need to overly powder my face. I know I do still use a lot of powders, but usually I would use a bit of the RCMA all over my face to set it, but with this I didn't need to. And my bronzer, like usually if I only sort of do the outsides of my face with powder to set my foundation, I'll get patchy bronzer. But that is just not patchy at all, so that I'm really impressed with. So the price of this is £16, and you do need to buy it off the Morphe website. A lot of people, because it's a brand which I use a lot on my clients, because I love Morphe, I think it's a great brand, and it's not a high-end makeup brand, it's much more affordable. So it's £16, which I think it's not the most affordable foundation that you can get in the world, but it's not high either, it's kind of like in the middle, and I think considering how well it's performed, it's well worth the money. But as we're saying about Morphe, it's not a brand that a lot of people know of, and I think you do have to buy it online, so it's not the type of brand that you would go into Superdrug or Boots and it would be there, and you do need to actually go online and have a look. But I would recommend it to any of you that are looking for, I mean, nearly all of my makeup brushes are Morphe. Their brushes are amazing. I use a lot of Morphe eyeshadows because they're amazing. If anybody has had their makeup done in the last sort of 6 months with me, they would have probably had the Jaclyn Hill times Morphe palette use on them, because it's one of my favourites and the colours are just incredible and it blends easily. So I did have quite high hopes for this because of how much I love the rest of their products. Oh, and the other thing which I really like about this packaging, which I don't think I mentioned at the beginning, is the fact that what I find with so many foundations is that they'll have like the little pumps, and I feel like it doesn't always get all the foundation out of it, and you want to get your money's worth. I'm just saying, you spend a lot of money on makeup, you want to make sure you're using it properly, so or you're using all of it. This packaging means that you can literally squeeze every last bit out, and also if I was really desperate one day, you could even snip the end off and like put a brush in there and get it out that way, which I really like about this. So that is the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed this little mini first impressions review of this foundation. It's not a brand which I know a lot of you probably aren't aware of. I think those of you that love makeup and are in the beauty community and that sort of thing, you'll know about Morphe and you already know how great they are and what a good reputation they have. But for those of you that are wanting to try a brand which isn't one you tried before, isn't one that you see all the time, you want to try something new, something which isn't too expensive, I would definitely recommend having a little look on the Morphe website and just having a little browse through. And you'll probably notice now that when you watch my videos how much Morphe I do use, because they really are a great brand. But as always, thank you so much for watching and for clicking on this video, and if there are any video suggestions at all which you want to see on my channel, please just leave them in the comments down below. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Let me know what you think if you've tried this foundation as well, leave it in the comments. And if there are any other foundations which you think, Alice, you need to try that, leave that in the comments as well. And yeah, thank you so much for watching guys, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!